It's December 26th. JLD here, and welcome to MSTR Today in the Treasury Titans. Nothing in this video is financial advice, but I do hope you had a wonderful Christmas. I hope you are looking forward to an incredible new year. I know Michael Saylor, as you can see in this picture, is looking forward to new horizons. Listen, sometimes the pioneers are the ones that get arrows in the back. Or sometimes it's the pioneers who discover the new richness of the land. And Michael Saylor, in my opinion, is leading the charge into the new world order, into the new monetary world order. Bitcoin is pristine capital. It is the apex predator when it comes to capital preservation, and so many more things to come in the future. And guess what? Michael Saylor and company has 670,000 plus Bitcoin and growing. That's not going to change. And again, that's 670,000 plus Bitcoin. And that is just not going to change, as that number is only going up, up, up forever, just like that horizon stretches on forever. If anybody used to play the game Oregon Trail, give me a little shout out in the comments. I used to love that game. By the way, you can play Oregon Trail if you just go to any Google search engine, whatever, and just type in Play Oregon Trail. They'll give you a completely free version to play, and it's identical to the original. It's a lot of fun, actually. But this image reminds me of Chimney Rock. If you ever make it to Chimney Rock, you know that you're probably going to make it. That is, at least, unless Sarah got dysentery, then all bets are off. But listen, we have a lot to talk about today. Just kidding. We don't have a lot to talk about today because it's December 26th and everybody was rightfully so quiet and focused on family and doing other things yesterday. But I do have a couple things I want to share with you, and then I have a great clip from Michael Saylor. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. As my main man, Adam Livingston, he has a simple 2026 Bitcoin thesis. Trump Fed equals loose policy. Higher inflation expectations. Nominal economy looks hot. USD loses credibility. Bitcoin pumps. Trump's Fed chair pick is going to be Kevin Hassett or another growth first hawk on cheap money. Growth first hawk on cheap money. He's going to be very dovish. Is going to be the new Fed chair. If the Fed cuts hard and fast, Bitcoin runs like 2020 again. Easy money equals risk asset rain. Let's go. Brian says, fun fact, contrary to popular belief, MSTR did not start using ATMs in November 2024. I love that Brian posted this, by the way, because a lot of fudders, a lot of people who are clueless, a lot of headline readers, a lot of clickbait engagementers, a lot of individuals who, by the way, are just absolutely clueless in everything that they say and do are like, oh, as soon as Saylor started using the ATM, like everything went to crap. Like that's just not true. They're just repeating fake, false news. It has been using ATM since at least June 14th, 2021, when it entered into an open market sales agreement with Jefferies. Most are simply unaware of the earlier usage. Those that have put in the work and have knowledge are not, though. British Hodl says Bitcoin is the hurdle rate on savings. MSTR is the hurdle rate on investments. Nothing beats this setup in any true risk-adjusted way for the coming decades. That's what British Hodl's thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Decades. And let's move on over to Mike Alfred, who has actually a great quote. You only live once. And I think it's important to take a stand. Believe in something and to put your money where your mouth is. If Bitcoin isn't $1 million plus per coin by December 31st, 2033, what is that? About 8 years from now, I will sell all my Bitcoin and delete this account. No excuses. Play like a champion. And Ragnar did something. I love this. It's remind me underscore of this on, and then you give the date, and then this will pop back up into your Twitter feed when that date comes around. So we'll see what happens there. The Bitcoin therapist says just in 89,000 Bitcoin. Who's ready for a God candle? I mean, this pumped overnight. Now it's kind of retraced back down as I'm talking with you. It's a little bit over 88,000. Who knows where it's at when I'm recording this? Doesn't really matter because the end of the year is going to be low liquidity. And then we move into 2026 with a feeling of hope, with a feeling of reckless abandon, with a feeling that, you know what? Is the Bitcoin 4-year cycle broken? Is it time to see the next massive run? Or are we going to have a painful chop down into the next bear market? Only time will tell. But Michael Saylor has some words for us, so sit back, relax, and enjoy.
And, Then it was adventure and opportunity and challenge and response. And it was a journey, and it's a journey of discovery because we went from being a software company to being a structured finance company, right? It's like first we did senior credit or senior debt, and that was a weight around our neck, and then we did asset-backed financing, and that didn't work well, and then we did OTC, over-the-counter financing, and we learned the limitations of that. And then we did convertible debt. We learned the limitations of that. And as we moved through each iteration, we realized that there were some extraordinary technologies, and we're engineers. We put together about 6 components, right? One was a preferred equity, right? And most people had never used preferred equity to create credit. And the second was a public offering. We did one public offering in 1998 for like $48 million or something, 40 something million dollars.
Yep.
And then we did a 500 million, a 600 million, a billion, and a $2.5 billion, and a $700 million IPO
Basically this year. Yeah.
Bam, 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 bam. $5 billion type public offerings. Okay. So we harnessed the IPO, and then we tacked on the at the market shelf registration. So we tacked another thing onto it. And then we borrowed everything we learned about the ETFs. We studied ETFs and we watched the success of BlackRock. And we said, how do we create a credit instrument that has all the strengths of an ETF, that has the power of an ATM, that has the power of a publicly traded security, that has the flexibility of a preferred equity, that has the volatility and the performance of digital capital. We put all those together, and then we plug that into digital rails. We use this phrase, do you want to do an OTC deal or do you want to do a public deal? Okay. The investment bankers will pitch it like those are equal.
Yeah.
And actually the bankers will tell you the OTC deal is easier. Let me tell you the difference. An OTC deal is one bank calls 37 of their friends into an alley and we trade baseball cards.
Right.
And a public deal is, okay, we create a security that 200 million people can buy and sell every minute of the day, everywhere in the world. And you tell me, you think they're both equal ways to raise capital? Right? I'm going to sell you a credit instrument. Do you want to trade it, in the back alley with like 12 possible buyers?
Right.
Or would you like to actually be able to post it and sell it to 200 million people in the world every second of the day? It's like, they're not equal, right? One of them is better than the other one. And so this was a journey of discovery. And at the end of the day, we had to understand credit instruments, and by the way, bank deposits are the worst. Margin debt is pretty bad.
Right.
Junk bonds are pretty bad. Convertible bonds, unsecured, less bad. Over the counter, not great. Preferred equity, this perpetual, better. Public preferred equity, better. Public preferred equity with the shelf registration, best. With a QSIP, no. You want a 5-letter ticker? No. 4-letter ticker, word you can pronounce. IPO'd. By the way, in Europe, not quite as good. We took Stream Public in Europe. We're still trying to get it to trade properly for the retail a month later, right? You take it public and we get these things strike on the NASDAQ within 5 days. Right? Not all capital markets are equal. Guess what? The US capital market is better. How much better? A lot better. So as we actually move down this journey of discovery, we went from adventurous and opportunistic and strategic to eventually transformational, and then we realized that we had actually created a better credit product. And I would say those first 4 years, the equity was the product. The credit was the tactic.
When you're ready to build your complete business identity, you want to do it fast and right. With Northwest Registered Agent, you can build your business identity in just 10 clicks in 10 minutes. When you want more, start your business with Northwest. Everything you need to launch and protect your business all in one place. Your business identity isn't just your logo or website, it's everything that represents you, from what customers see to what they don't: legal filings, state licenses, secure domains, and compliance tools. Northwest gives you more privacy, more tools, and more guidance so you can focus on growing your dream. For nearly 30 years, Northwest has helped entrepreneurs like us build confidently. You can form your business for just $39 plus state fees, backed by real corporate guides, people who know your state's laws and have your back every step of the way. Don't wait. Protect your privacy, build your brand, and get your complete business identity in just 10 clicks in 10 minutes. Visit www.northwestregisteredagent.com/paidJLD and start building something amazing. Get more with Northwest Registered Agent at www.northwestregisteredagent.com/paidJLD. Michael Saylor just made an $835 million bet buying the Bitcoin dip. Right now, Bitcoin's fallen almost 40% off its October high, and the big money is buying the dip. What's your strategy? Now might be a great time to convert your IRA or 401k to Bitcoin with the help of Bit IRA. Plus, you can fund it with pre-tax funds, then continue to invest it over time as you do any other retirement accounts. Bit IRA protects your assets with end-to-end insurance, highly secure storage, multi-encryption, and registered with the U.S. government. Your IRA is fully IRS compliant. Best of all, you can trade crypto within your retirement account without incurring taxes on any buys or sells. Just go to bitira.com/JLD and request a free info guide. Once you do that and open your IRA, you'll get a free ledger. Bitcoin has proven time and time again to rebound, every cycle going from a higher low to a higher high. With Strategy's latest purchase, Michael Saylor clearly believes Bitcoin is at a discount. Time for you to get in too. Go to bitira.com/JLD to open a tax-sheltered IRA in Bitcoin.
Right? We sell the bond to actually create performance in the equity.
Yeah, as an alternative to...
And that was fine for those 4 years because there was no other equity product. And I meet people in, UK today. They're like, hey, I bought your equity because I couldn't buy anything else with Bitcoin exposure in my retirement account, right?
Right.
So the equity is product. And then in 2025, we discovered digital credit, and that culminated in STRC, where we realized, what's the ideal product? I strip the delta, I strip the vol, I strip the duration.
Yeah.
I just hand people the yield. And if I hand people the yield in a tax-deferred dividend, how many different layers of innovation have I stacked on top of the credit world, right? Appreciating collateral, publicly tradable. By the way, it's illegal for a retail investor to buy an OTC instrument. Now, we talk about like being debanked and being blocked, right? And the entire digital assets revolution is about, an egalitarian, utilitarian movement to empower the masses. And, while we're empowering the masses, maybe empower the computer, right? Like, what if we had digital assets that AIs could trade 1 million times a second everywhere in the world without asking permission before they actually made the trade?
Yeah.
Right. And we kind of stepped through that, and we had to kind of get a PhD in capital markets and credit markets and securities markets, and then digital assets and digital capital. And that was a 5-year journey. But I would say at the end of the day, the philosophy underlying all this is, can you actually take all of these components that have been lying around for 30 years? ETFs have been around for 30 years. The most successful ETF plugged Bitcoin into it. Michael Milken will tell you he invented the ATM offering. We're the most successful issuer of equity via an ATM. And he invented the convertible bond market. We're the most successful issuer of convertible bonds. So we took all these ideas, plugged in digital capital, plugged in a public company in the U.S. capital markets with a bit of ambition. And then the truth of the matter is, even this last step, digital credit, it's not happening, Alex, unless we had digital intelligence, right? Because what happened in 2025 was the AIs got smart. And people are like, oh yeah, they're just kind of idiots, and they parrot back to you. Well, let me tell you, when you actually take the idiot and you parrot back and you do it 1 billion times and you loop it back on itself 10,000 times, you let it spend for 10 minutes, it's pretty smart.
Yeah.
Right. And
right.
so
You talked about that a few months ago in New York
Yeah.
at the Treasury Company conference about how you and Strategy have used AI to help design this new credit complex that you've created.
Yeah, no one in this entire digital asset space, and probably just a handful of companies, ever put an at-the-market shelf registration on a preferred equity.
Right.
Nobody ever created a variable rate preferred equity. Like, can I create a monthly dividend that trades stable around par and adjust the dividend every month? Ask every lawyer and every banker. It's never been done.
Right.
We don't know how to do it. Ask the AI. Yeah, sure. You can totally do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Why? They have no pride of authorship. No company ever went to Europe and sold a perpetual preferred equity. Well, we just don't do that in Europe. Okay.
Why not?
Why don't you do? Well, because all the other issuers didn't have digital capital. And so you had to have the right combination of circumstances. You needed a block of digital capital, and you needed digital intelligence. You need to have the will to create digital credit, so you create digital money. And yet they all had to click. And then once you have that clean sheet of paper, right? And Elon Musk talks about it all the time, right? It's like, he's like, take a clean sheet of paper. The biggest mistake engineers make is optimizing a part that shouldn't exist. Right?
Yeah.
It's like,
Talk about how deleting code is better than writing code a lot of the time.
And my book, The Mobile Wave, I lay out, the critical component technologies in the iPhone. If you don't have the right battery, the lithium battery, you don't have the right, touchscreen LED, there's no iPhone. And it's like, what did they do? Well, they left out the keyboard, and everybody else like, there's no keyboard. Where's the keyboard? It's like, well, that's a moving part, a lot of moving parts that should not be there. And after a while, you look and you're like, well, wait a minute. You get rid of the keyboard, and all of a sudden you have infinite keyboards, and you just talk to the phone. And why do I need, why do I even type in the first place?
Right.
Focus your energy. Guard your time. Train your mind. Train your body. Think for yourself. Curate your friends. Curate your environment. Keep your promises. Stay cheerful and constructive. And upgrade the world.